Mike Gesicki, tight end for the Cincinnati Bengals, finds himself in a situation where not really any competition at the position. Coach, let's start with you since you brought him up. Is Mike Gesicki a buy or is he a sell?
Man, Mike Gesicki is a buy. Now, don't go buying Mike Gesicki and expecting him to be a top 5 tight end. He's not. But if your team needs, I'm just being honest here, but if your team needs depth, it needs a reliable guy to play some tight end. I really like, he caught 65 balls last season. I think he can catch that this year, maybe more. Obviously, there's not a lot of competition, which Matt just said. Like, it's basically just Mike Gesicki in that room for the most part. Eric All's out for the season, who they drafted last year. They didn't. Did they draft one this year? Anyway, it doesn't even matter. So this was odd. So I looked it up. I was thinking about Mike Gesicki, and he graded out as a receiver on Pro Football Focus above guys this past season like Tucker Kraft, Evan Ingram, Pat Fryermuth. Mike Gesicki is a solid depth piece at tight end that you can get for virtually nothing.
And he's really athletic too, so he's going to have the ability to make plays. We haven't seen the touchdowns necessarily translate to the field yet. I mean, he had some early success in Miami, but you mentioned already, Coach, 83 targets last year with 65 receptions. I think there's a world where that role gets better. You mentioned how Eric All's out, Tanner Hudson, Drew Sample, Cole Taylor, all these are names that just don't necessarily amount to anything. And if you're in a tight end premium league where you need a tight end, Tyler and I have a league where we need a tight end right now. I think this is probably the spot where we go look to see if we can get Mike Gesicki, because I think all it's going to take is like a 2026 third. He's going to be dirt cheap.
Yeah, I mean, it's worth the flyer. That's what I'm saying. It's worth the flyer to see what happens.
Yeah, if you get him for a third, I think that's easy value. He did sign a 3-year, $25.5 million contract. That was 2 months ago now. So, I mean, he's going to be on the roster for a while. Sure, he's 29 years old, but he's still in that 2 to 3 year window where unless they go out and draft some, tight end stud or a replacement in the next year or two, I'm not really concerned about it. This offense has proven that they're going to air the ball out. I mean, look, they just re-signed Jamar Chase and T. Higgins both. So I think I forget what the percentage is, but it's an unreal percentage of their cap space for Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, and Jamar Chase, and that tells me they're going to throw the ball. So if you want, probably lower down the totem pole option in the passing game, but somebody who's going to get consistent targets, I would take Gesicki for a third any day.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing is just the opportunity. You're not necessarily going to find a guy with that kind of opportunity for that cheap. He's going to be in a good offense. So it's not even like, a guy like Zach Ertz, who Tyler and I also were trying to get. He's solid, he's stable, but that offense still is going to run the ball. Jaden Daniels is going to be able to do that RPO game and do some read option runs, where Burrow is truly a pocket passer, and he's going to just wheel and deal. And, what's better than a tight end who's just going to be the check down guy? So I think there's a world where Gesicki kind of can be that fringe tight end one. He finishes 14 last year. Could he be 14 again? Yeah, that wouldn't shock me. And if I'm in need of a tight end because I don't have one, there's going to be rosters out there that don't. Go get him. Go check and see if you can find him. Because what if he turns into, maybe a guy like Jonnu Smith who kind of hit that spot where he got in the right situation and scored a bunch of points and kind of led to something, a bunch of touchdowns. And the Bengals offense is one that I would bet to score a ton of points. So if he can increase the 2 touchdowns to 6 touchdowns, his fantasy upside is going to go up a lot. I bet he would jump way higher than tight end 14 if he had 6 touchdowns.